Welcome back to Crime Podcast's Twisted Love series, episode 25. Today, we're diving deep into a case that really shook Ghaziabad, India, back in 2019.
Yeah, this one's heavy.
The double murder of Sarita Sharma and Neeraj Malhotra.
Right.
A story full of love and betrayal.
Absolutely, and violence.
Oh, yeah, lots of violence. So, get ready for this one, listeners. This one's a tough one.
It is. It really shows you how, what looks ordinary can just fall apart.
Right.
In the most unexpected way, in the worst way, like hidden tensions, secrets, all that.
Totally. Like, from the outside, Sarita and Neeraj, just a regular couple in their 30s,
Yeah. Yeah.
Sarita, she was a homemaker, really warm personality, dedicated to her family by all accounts. Neeraj, he was an insurance agent, worked hard.
Yeah.
Typical guy trying to make a good life for his family.
Yeah, but look a little closer.
Right.
And you start to see the problems, the stress, like money problems, for example.
Oh, yeah, money's always a stressor.
Huge one, right. And then Neeraj working those long hours.
Leaving Sarita feeling, isolated.
Isolated and neglected.
Alone.
Alone. Yeah, it's a common story. Life gets in the way, right?
Happens to the best of us, or so they say.
Yeah, and when that happens, that's when someone else can come into the picture.
That's when we meet Rohit Awasthi.
Exactly.
A 29-year-old gym instructor, lived in the same neighborhood.
Charismatic guy.
Okay, so Sarita and Rohit, they start as friends.
Yeah, but it changes fast.
Becomes something more, right?
Much more. She's looking for that connection. She's missing someone to listen.
To see her.
To see her, right.
Yeah.
But think about it. Leaving her husband, that's not an easy choice.
No, huge decision, especially in their culture.
Oh, absolutely. Divorce. Big stigma there.
Makes things so much more complicated. Like, the love triangle's already intense.
Right. High stakes.
But then you add this societal pressure.
Exactly.
Oh, and Rohit, he doesn't help the situation, does he?
No, not really. The guy was infatuated. Oh, yeah. Big time. He wants her to leave Neeraj. Adds fuel to the fire.
That's when things at home between Sarita and Neeraj get really bad.
Yeah, you can just picture it. The arguments.
All fights.
The resentment all building up like a pressure cooker.
And then, February 12th, 2019.
That night.
Neighbors hear shouting coming from their apartment.
Classic saying, right?
And then silence.
That's silence. Chilling, right?
Always is. It's like something terrible
has happened.
And it did.
It did. The next morning, they're found dead.
In their home.
Sarita, strangled. Neeraj, multiple stab wounds. Just brutal.
Absolutely brutal. And a community in shock. The police have a tough case on their hands.
Yeah, a double homicide with all these tangled emotions.
A secret's desired.
Where do they even begin?
Well, the first thing they notice, no forced entry.
So whoever did this
knew the victims.
Yeah.
Had access. Someone they let in.
Okay, that narrows things down. Right. So they start asking questions. The neighbors talked. Remember all those arguments, Neeraj's suspicions?
Right.
They start to paint a picture. Sarita's relationship with Rohit, he becomes the prime suspect.
Suspicion, though, that's not enough.
No, they need evidence. Hard evidence to connect him to the crime scene.
And did they find it?
Two things. First, fingerprints on the murder weapon.
Wow.
A kitchen knife from the apartment.
And the prints.
Rohit's.
Damn.
Places him right there. Right. But there's more. Phone records, text messages between Rohit and Sarita.
Lots of back and forth.
Lots.
Yeah.
Arguments, possessive language, threats even.
Yeah.
In the days leading up to the murder.
She's like a relationship just completely
out of control. Yeah.
driven by jealousy.
Obsession.
And what did Rohit do when confronted?
He confessed.
Confessed.
Under pressure. Yeah. Cracked. Tells the whole story. Confronted them both. Demanded she leave her husband.
And when she said no.
Snapped. Says he just snapped.
So confession evidence seems pretty open and shut.
You'd think, right. But the defense, they had other plans. Oh, yeah, they weren't giving up easy. The trial, it was a whole spectacle. Premeditation, crimes of passion, all of that.
It was a big one, for sure. People were glued to it.
Right. It's scary, right? But also, you kind of can't look away. Love and obsession, it's powerful stuff.
Dark side of the human heart. Right?
Exactly. So the prosecution, they had a strong case. Premeditated murder, that was their argument. Rohit, he was obsessed.
And they had the proof, right? Confession, the messages, the fingerprints.
All of it. But the defense, they had a different angle. They said Rohit was, what was the word?
Distraught.
Distraught, yes. Driven to this act, because of his emotional state.
So not planned, but like a moment of...
passion. A crime of passion.
Yeah, crime of passion.
Mm.
Trying to paint him as a victim almost, huh?
In a way, yeah. Like, he was so dependent on Sarita, so frustrated she wouldn't leave Neeraj.
The jealousy just ate him up.
Consumed him, yeah. But even then, it's still, 2 people dead. The prosecution, they weren't having it.
So what'd they do?
They focused on the violence, how brutal it was, the stab wounds, the strangulation. So that went way beyond just passion.
Right. It was more than just losing control for a second.
Exactly. They said he meant to do it. He wanted them dead. So it was a real battle, 2 sides, 2 stories.
And the jury had to decide who to believe. What happened? What was the verdict?
It took weeks of testimony, arguments, all of it. But in the end,
Guilty.
guilty, double murder, life in prison.
Wow. That's, a heavy price to pay.
It is. It really shows you actions have consequences. You let emotions control you like that.
Bad things happen.
Tragic things. So what about Rohit? What happened to him after?
Yeah, what became of him?
At first they say he still claimed he was innocent, even after the verdict. But then later on there were rumors, people close to him said he felt bad.
Remorseful.
Yeah, that he regretted what he did. But most people, they didn't buy it.
Hard to feel sorry for the guy who killed 2 people, I guess.
Yeah, tough one. This whole case, it really makes you think about the dark side of human nature,
How love can turn into something so twisted.
Exactly. Makes you wonder, what are the warning signs? How do we prevent something like this from happening again?
That's the big question, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think a big takeaway here is communication and relationships. Right?
Oh, yeah, huge. If you can't talk to each other, really talk.
It all builds up the resentment, the anger.
Exactly, yeah. Like, if you're not happy, if you feel ignored, you gotta say something.
Otherwise, it just festers.
Yeah.
Turns into something toxic.
Right. And look, it's not just about speaking up. It's also about, seeing the signs.
The red flags.
The red flags, yeah.
Right.
Like, is your partner jealous all the time? Controlling?
That's not love.
It's not. It's dangerous. And if you see those signs in yourself even,
Don't ignore them.
don't talk to someone, a friend, family, therapist, whoever. There's help out there.
Yeah, you don't have to go through it alone. This case, it really shows you love shouldn't be a prison.
No, never. If you're walking on eggshells, if you can't be yourself,
That's not right.
not at all. You deserve better. Everyone does. Trust, respect, that's what it's about.
So, as we wrap up here, what's the one thing you want our listeners to remember?
Love shouldn't trap you. It should set you free.
That's a good one. Powerful. And remember, listeners, if you're in a tough situation, if you're scared,
Reach out. There's always someone who can help.
don't give up on finding a love that's good, a love that's healthy. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive. It was a tough one, but important.
Absolutely. And if you liked it, hit that subscribe button, leave us a review. We'll be back next week with another case, another story.
Huh.
Until then, stay safe out there.
And remember, love shouldn't hurt.